Good afternoon or good evening, everyone. I am Leah Chan Greenwald, and it is my great honor to serve as the Dean of the William S. Boyd School of Law here at UNLV. I am so glad that we are able to gather here on this important day honoring our graduates. And before we welcome them in, let me take this opportunity to say congratulations to all of you, the families, friends, and loved ones, for helping your students make it to this momentous day. Now, if you could all please rise, most of you are, as we welcome the class of 2025, and they will be coming in that way. Woo! all be seated. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge and honor the indigenous communities of this region and recognize that the law school and university is situated on the traditional homelands of the Nuwuvi Southern Paiute people. We offer gratitude for the land itself, for those who have stewarded it for generations, and for the opportunity to study, learn, work, and be in community with this land. We encourage everyone in this space to engage in continued learning about the indigenous peoples who work and live on this land since time immemorial, including the Las Vegas Paiute tribe and the Mawapa Band of Paiutes, and about the historical and present realities of colonialism. As one of the most diverse universities in the United States, UNLV believes it is important to recognize and appreciate the use of Southern Paiute land as part of its mission to be a welcoming and inclusive place for working and learning. I would now like to welcome forward Class of 2025 member Julie Bravo Bazard, who will sing our national anthem. Please rise if you are able.
I know a lot of you told me that you can't hold a tune, but I hope that you'll sing with me anyway. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you so much for that, Julie. What a joyous day. We are thrilled to have all of you here with us today as we confer Juris Doctor and Master of Laws degrees upon these candidates. It is a great day for them, for you, and for all of us. I would now like to introduce some of our distinguished guests to you. We are honored to have with us on the stage today Dr. Chris Heavey, UNLV President, Nevada Supreme Court Justice Patricia Lee, our 8th Judicial District Nevada State Court judges, if you could wave to the audience, Caleb Green, a 2019 alum of the Boyd School of Law and our keynote speaker, Jessica Gandy, a 2016 alumna and president of the Boyd School of Law Alumni Chapter. We also have our student speakers hiding out in the back, Kelsey Henderson and Marcel Wilkin-Brown. Our other distinguished guests include Regents Patrick Boylan, Carol Del Carlo, and Jennifer McGrath. And Nevada System of Higher Education Vice Chancellor James Martinez. We truly appreciate all of our distinguished guests joining us today. As talented as our graduates are, and you really are, no one can make it through law school without the support and encouragement of many others. So first, I'd like to recognize the faculty and staff of Boyd who are dedicated to our students and their success, both in law school and after graduation. Will our faculty and staff please stand to be recognized? Just as important are all of you who are here today to support our graduates. Families, friends, loved ones, you have made the graduate success possible. You encouraged them to keep going even when they were discouraged, reminded them that they have what it takes to succeed, and quite possibly forgave them for those days and nights when studying took first priority. Let's give the family and friends of our graduates a round of applause and a hearty thanks. We are delighted to have the president of UNLV here with us this afternoon. We are so grateful for his leadership in this moment and for his support of the law school. Please join me in welcoming UNLV President Dr. Chris Heavey.
Thank you, Dean. I am delighted to be here with you today to just say a few brief words of congratulations to the graduates. This day is certainly about you, and it's about your faculty who have come together to train you to be the next generation of what I would call civilization builders. I think the university exists as an intentional effort to make the world a better place. We assemble world-class minds to train the next generation of people to go out and serve the world in making it better. And one of the incredible advancements of humanity is the rule of law, the way to settle disputes without violence, to sort out complicated issues between people of which there's often great contention. And so what I would say to the graduates in this proud day as you go forward as future attorneys is think of yourselves as civilization builders. Think of yourselves as people trained to make the world a better place. That's what your faculty have taught you how to do, and that's what they believe you will do with the skills that you've learned here. So congratulations to all of you new civilization builders. Congratulations to the proud family and friends who supported them on this journey. And thank you to the faculty who have spent their lives training the next generation to go out and make the world a better place. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, President Heavey. Graduates, in just a few minutes, you will become Boyd Law alumni, and you will join a distinguished group of alumni throughout the state and around the country. To welcome you to the Boyd Law Alumni Network, it is my pleasure to introduce Jessica Gandy, who is a 2016 Boyd graduate. Jessica is a partner with the law firm of Lewis Brisbois and has served as president of the William S. Boyd School of Law Alumni Chapter this year. Jessica, please join me at the podium.
Thank you, Dean, for that introduction. Good evening, graduates, and thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for inviting me here to speak to you on behalf of the Boyd Alumni Association. The journey that takes us to and through law school and onto our legal careers is unique for everyone. Before I started law school, I wanted to be Jack McCoy with a dash of Lenny Briscoe humor. When I was in high school and college, I would watch Law & Order with my mom every week. It's one of my favorite memories. We would sit on the couch and I would eat popcorn while I was mesmerized by this confident attorney who did not back down from other lawyers or judges or anyone else. He was smart, well-spoken, and passionate. As a teenager, I thought, wow, this is it. I want to be a lawyer. This is what I want to do. It took me nearly 20 years to get from that popcorn-eating teen on the couch to a full-fledged attorney. But during that nearly 2 decades, I always thought about Jack McCoy. and I imagined that was what was being a lawyer would be like. I was so wrong. I'm here to tell you with confidence that being an attorney is nothing like we see on television. Although, to be honest, the first case I was assigned was steeped in bird law, believe it or not. And let's be honest, of all the things that Boyd prepared me for, and they prepared me for a lot, bird law was not one of them. Despite having no idea what I was doing, I took a deep breath and took a leap into the unknown, clinging to the skills and perseverance that I learned from my professors and classmates. Today, I look back at that moment and laughingly tell everyone that I meet that I truly am a bird law expert. Whether you become a gritty, overworked, street-smart attorney in rumpled and slightly mismatched attire like Jack McCoy, or a glamorous and polished litigator that would put Hollywood to shame, we will forever share our Boyd roots. And what amazing roots they are. As the newest group of Boyd graduates, you are now part of the larger Boyd alumni family. No matter where you go or what you do, you will forever have a family of alumni to help you navigate the labyrinth of the legal world. You will have friends, family, and mentors to support you in your journey. We will be here to help you celebrate your wins and encourage you to push forward after tough losses. We are here to provide guidance, mentorship, resources, networking opportunities, and above all, friendship. Even though you are leaving the classroom, the Boyd family remains. Whether you choose to remain in Las Vegas or you plan your adventures further afield, the Boyd alumni family is never more than a phone call or email away. Even today, I will still sit on my couch and watch reruns of Jack McCoy fighting the good fight for the Manhattan District Attorney. And honestly, I still love it. I see a passionate, albeit fictional attorney that inspired me to become the woman standing before you today. However, while I did not become the type of attorney that Hollywood tricked me into thinking was real, except for that bird law part, somehow that is real. I've become something that I love, a member of the Boyd alumni family, a family that I am happy to welcome you into today. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Next, I am pleased to invite our class speakers up. The committee tasked with choosing a class speaker was from a very large group of students who auditioned for the role. And this committee was so distraught at having to choose just one of these two finalists that they asked whether we might allow them to choose both. And the decision was an easy one. Both of these students represent so much of what we care about: leadership, commitment, generosity, and professionalism. So we will hear first from Kelsey Henderson, and then after Kelsey speaks, we will hear from Marcel Wilkin Brown. Kelsey?
Our journeys at Boyd all began with a call from Dean Lusang. I remember being at work and returning to my 5th grade classroom to find that I had a missed call. The call. I'd missed it because I was in the throes of an intense negotiation between 2 5th graders in my class. The parties had engaged in a verbal dispute at recess, which escalated into physical violence. I believe cooties may have been involved. When I missed that call, I had already decided to leave teaching in search of something entirely different. I was leaving behind I was leaving behind the daily squabbles over the smallest things, the need to bite my tongue over anytime I felt frustrated, and the constant chorus of, "It wasn't me." I had decided to become a lawyer, and I thought surely I wouldn't ever have to deal with any of that again. Turns out, lawyering is more like 5th grade than I had anticipated. And my experience in the classroom has been invaluable throughout these last 3 years. So if you will indulge me in one final lesson, I would like to share with you what lawyers can learn from 5th graders. First, we can learn that discomfort often means we're doing something right. My students and I had a daily ritual. They would come to me, assignment in hand, and groan, "This is too hard." And I would say, "Good, that means you're growing." I've had to remind myself of that a lot over the last 3 years. Law school has been full of challenging, uncomfortable moments that sometimes felt too hard to tackle. Standing up to present an oral argument in moot court and gripping the podium to hide that I was shaking. Walking into a networking event and trying to sound like I belonged. Or sending an email to a partner at my firm and second-guessing every single word. But over time, the things that felt impossible started to feel manageable. Memos that once took weeks to complete are now an afternoon assignment. Speaking in court, once terrifying, became routine. But now, as we step into the world of lawyering, that feeling of discomfort is creeping back. But if you told a 5th grader you were feeling uncomfortable, they'd probably tell you, "Good, that means you're growing." And when we do finally start to feel comfortable, that's probably a good sign that it's time to find new ways to challenge ourselves and keep growing. 5th graders can also teach us to show ourselves appreciation. Whenever my students would work really hard at something, I would tell them, "Kiss your brain," and say, "Thank you, brain." Of course, they thought that was so cringe at first, but then something funny happened. They started doing it on their own. They learned to stop and take the time to appreciate themselves for showing up and putting in the effort. In law school, it's easy to get caught up in our to-do lists, prepping for the next cold call, the next exam, the next interview. We rarely take time to stop and appreciate how much we've actually accomplished. And as we become lawyers, I have a feeling that pace isn't going to slow down anytime soon. But we can take a piece of 5th grade into practice with us and learn to stop and appreciate how much we've accomplished so far. So, if it's not too cringe for you, do it with me. Are you ready? Kiss your brain and say, "Thank you, brain." Thank you so much. And now I am pleased to introduce Marcel Wilken-Brown.
Pardon me, I'm a little taller. Where am I? There we go. It's no exaggeration to say that this is a big moment in our lives. Today is the end of a journey that we began years ago when we decided we wanted to go to law school. But more than that, today is a celebration of all of our accomplishments. We're here to recognize that despite the long hours of studying, the ruthless cold calls from professors, and the hourly mental breakdowns that we suffered through together, each and every one of us in a short time will achieve our dreams and walk across this stage. So I say again that this is a big moment in our lives. Now, as class speaker, I would be neglecting my duties if I did not take a moment to acknowledge the family who have joined us today. Because it's not just a celebration for us, but also for those who have supported us at every step of this journey. So to our loved ones, though you are not currently sporting this fashionable and shockingly unaffordable outfit, many of you have worked just as hard as we have in getting to this point. We know it's not easy dealing with us. We've often had to cancel plans because we're busy reading for class. And to be frank, arguing with us has become nearly impossible. But despite these changes, you've stuck with us through it all. and we appreciate you so much more than you will ever know, because we wouldn't be here without you. Now back to my class. If you were to ask me how I feel about graduating today, frankly, I would tell you that I'm just so excited to never again have to fight for a parking spot at Cottage Grove. But if you were to ask me on a deeper level, I would tell you that I'm both sad and excited. Law school has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. It's given me both skills and friends that I will treasure for a lifetime. And now, unlike many of the other speakers that we've heard from today, or that we will hear from today, I offer you no wisdom, as I frankly have no more to offer than anyone else graduating today. But I do want to share a sentiment that many of us have heard during our law school journey. A wise man with a great podcast once said that our future clients have been depending on us since the moment we decided to go to law school. Now, I share this sentiment not to scare anybody, but to impress upon you all the significance of the privilege we've had to earn this degree at Boyd. As attorneys, we will have the ability to do a lot in this world. Despite whatever you seek to accomplish after today, I urge you to exercise both caution and passion in your efforts. We're entering a profession of both great power, requiring great responsibility. One where people will actively come to us seeking guidance through some of the worst situations of their lives. I hope that when those times comes, we're not hasty in our decisions. I hope that many of us choose to use the skills that we've developed to make the world a better place for the communities we will be serving. I hope that in our journeys to become the first, best, or most, as I'm confident that many of us will go on to be, we exercise humility as the guide of our thinking and self-awareness as the frame for our judgment. But more than anything, I hope that we never fall out of love for the profession that we're working so hard to join. I hope we never let being lawyers stop us from being the dreamers, thinkers, and advocates we were on that first day of orientation. I have no doubt that there will be moments in our career where we will question our own abilities. And so in those moments, I urge you to first breathe, and then remember all of the success you've achieved. Remember the feeling today as your name is announced and you walk across the stage. And remember the feeling as that hood goes over your shoulders. But if that doesn't work, then I urge you to look at your diploma and remind yourself that unlike many other attorneys, you graduated from the #1 ranked law school in the state of Nevada. In closing, I don't know what the future holds for many of us after today, but I can't wait to see the amazing work that we all do in this world. Class of 2025, it's been an honor to go through law school with all of you, and congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelsey and Marcel, for those meaningful remarks. I am now honored to introduce our keynote speaker, Caleb Green. Mr. Green is a 2019 graduate of Boyd Law. He is a partner at the national law firm of Howard & Howard. Caleb has been recognized by many organizations as a terrific intellectual property attorney. In 2023, he won the Young Lawyer of the Year award from the State Bar of Nevada. We are very proud to call Caleb one of our own. Graduates and honored guests, please join me in welcoming Caleb Green.
Good afternoon and greetings. Thank you, Dean, for that wonderful introduction. I'm so blessed and I'm so honored, and I want to thank the class of 2025 for inviting me to be here. It's truly a privilege and an opportunity, and I want to take a moment just to thank and honor God for this opportunity. I want to thank the class of 2025 for entrusting me what I think is a very weighty opportunity to address each of you here at Commencement. I also want to make sure I recognize those on the stage, to UNLV President Heavey, Dean Grinvald, the various members of the Nevada System of Higher Education, and the Board of Regents. all of our elected officials and members of the judiciary today. I want to recognize you, as well as those that work behind the scenes, our faculty, staff, and administrators here at the William S. Boyd School of Law. And of course, all the honored and distinguished guests, the proud parents and family, welcome to this wonderful day of celebration and accomplishment. If I may, I want to take a brief moment just to recognize some people that have helped me get where I am today, including my pastors, Dr. Philippi Owens and Patricia A. Owens of Emmanuel's Temple, to my wife, Walandra Whiting Green, who's here, as well as to my parents, Lacey and Renee Green. Thank you for your sacrifices and helping me get to where I am today. And now, most importantly, I got to recognize and congratulate the class of 2025. Give a hand to yourselves. I love the air horn. You did it. The last several years have culminated to this moment. And now I'm the only one standing in between you and walking across the stage, getting hooded and graduating. So don't worry. The speech I have written was generated by ChatGPT, and it's only an hour and a half long. I'm kidding, of course, but no, seriously, congratulations to each of you. You know, I remember being in your shoes just 6 years ago, if you believe it or not. And I have so many vivid memories of law school. And like my own law school journey, it's probably been the same for you. It's undoubtedly been rigorous. It's been demanding, of course. But I hope it's also been transformative for each of you. You've had to dissect complex legal theories, argue about hypothetical or often real cases with passion, and you've learned to think critically and deeply analyze facts. Since I began to graduate and practice law, I found that these skills are very transferable in all aspects of life. These are skills that, regardless the career path that you choose, they're powerful assets that can continue to serve you in every aspect of your life. So as you all walk across this stage, you leave law school, and you start your lives, you'll undoubtedly accomplish many feats. I think you can just hear it from the two student speakers, Marcel and Kelsey, is just a great representation of what this class is about. And I have no doubt that each of you are going to accomplish many things in your career. Many of you are going to make immense differences in someone's life, whether it be a family member, client. Most importantly, each of you are going to do something in the practice of law that is very important for all of us as lawyers, and that is to pursue justice. And so I want to talk to you all as somewhat of a recent grad, that as you all continue to amass these incredible accomplishments that I know you're going to achieve, I want to encourage you to cherish each and every moment, especially starting today. They will fuel you, as you will see through your career, through inevitable challenges that are ultimately going to lie ahead. And speaking of challenges, there's one in particular that I think is prevalent, one I think that particularly sometimes can plague folks, and especially in their early years of practice, right after graduation. And I'm talking about that two-word issue called imposter syndrome. That nagging feeling that you often feel like you may not be good enough, that you've somehow fooled everyone into believing that you don't belong and that you'll somehow be found out any moment now. Trust me, it's a common visitor. You've probably already dealt with it throughout law school, and if you haven't, it's certainly something that may arise as you continue your careers. You may find yourself in a room full of very accomplished attorneys and question whether or not you belong, or you may even question your own capabilities being faced with a somewhat insurmountable legal challenge. Or like me, you may face those whispers of self-doubt as you're preparing to give a commencement speech at your law school alma mater just 6 years out of law school. You know, when Dean Grinvald and Dr. Rappaport told me I was selected as this year's commencement speaker, I felt a lot of things, as anyone would. What an honor it is to come back to your law school and be able to speak to the next legal leaders of tomorrow. Obviously, I was excited, a little bit nervous. I was shocked, of course. But, you know, as reality started to settle in, I started to have my own battle with imposter syndrome. I started to question myself, do I belong on this stage? Have I accomplished enough? Do I have enough legal tenure or experience to really pass on a meaningful message to each of you. I mean, let's be honest, I'm standing in front of you. This is the same graduation outfit I wore 6 years ago. And to my credit, it still fits. But while I may not necessarily possess a lengthy tenure of legal experience, I stand before you with a perspective that I think is quite unique. You see, I'm not that far removed from where each and every one of you are sitting here today. I still have those memories of closing down the library after a late night study session. I still remember that nervous anxiety I felt when I read before class, but it was still nervous if I was going to get called on in class. Or even just that sheer relief that I know you all are feeling, that final exams are finally over. Those are all vivid memories for me. So I don't have seasoned wisdom of a legal titan necessarily. I do have a fresh experience about navigating those initial and daunting steps that each of you are about to take. Now, as I often do, I like to look to history when I'm faced with challenges to try to draw inspiration from or lessons learned from those that have gone before us. And when I thought about historical figures who grappled with this feeling of inadequacy, my mind went to the historical account of King David in the Bible. Now, we probably heard a lot of stories about King David. The most prevalent is that of David and Goliath. You probably heard that phrase or analogy in sports, business, or just in life. That story of a young teenage boy who took on a 10-foot giant with nothing but 5 smooth stones and a slingshot. And he emerged victorious. We've heard that triumphant ending all the time and use it all the time, but, I started to ask myself, did David just wake up one day and say, I'm going to take on this giant? Well, no, I contend that David had a very different journey. His battle with Goliath was a culmination of his battle with imposter syndrome, feeling like he wasn't enough, like he hadn't accomplished enough. And it was through overcoming that he was able to step on that battlefield and slay the giants that were in his life. You see, David was the youngest in his father's house, the youngest of 7. He grew up as just a mere shepherd boy who was relegated to the fields of his father, Jesse. Even most people would probably consider David to be relatively insignificant in the grand scheme of things. I mean, even when Samuel came to appoint the next king of Israel, he asked for all of Jesse's sons, and Jesse didn't even include David in the original lineup. They had to go get him later. I started to ask myself, as I just rehearsed the history of David and his life and his origin story, he had to be feeling so insignificant, so overlooked. Yet when it came to facing Goliath, David didn't bat an eye. He stepped forward and volunteered himself to take on what was probably the worst challenge and obstacle that he had ever seen. Why? Because despite his background, he had a deep-seated faith and a history of overcoming challenges. When making his case to fight Goliath, it was David that told Saul that just as a mere shepherd boy, how he killed a lion and a bear that had taken a sheep from the flock. You see, David's confidence to take on Goliath was not born out of arrogance or pride, but from genuine recollection of his past victories, however humble they may have seemed in comparison. He honed those experiences to take down the giant that stood in his way. Like David, many of you may look around at your accomplished peers or the formidable challenges that may lie ahead, and you may feel like those odds are stacked against you, like David. You might feel just like that shepherd boy facing that giant. But I want you to remember David's story as you graduate and you start your careers. I want to remember the skills that you've acquired here at this wonderful institution. In many ways, you're going to find that those tools that you've grasped while in law school are going to benefit you in ways that you just haven't realized yet. I want you to draw strength from your past accomplishments starting today, no matter how small they may seem. Whether it's nailing that cold call in Professor White's torts class, or getting that wonderful feedback from Professor Johnson in her lawyering processing class, or succeeding and providing just a really great strategy in one of the clinic programs. Even if it's just standing here today, graduating, I want you all to reflect on this Remind yourselves of this moment and have faith in your abilities that you worked hard to build. See, I had to do the same thing, even as a young lawyer. I had to change my perspective when facing giants of self-doubt in my own life. When those thoughts that maybe I haven't practiced enough or been experienced enough creep up, I had to remind myself that it's not just that I've graduated only 6 years ago, but it only took me 6 years to make it to partner at a national law firm. When I'm faced with those very legal arguments, very hard legal arguments where the facts are stacked against us, the law is stacked against us, I have to remind myself of past legal successes. I often think of a time I had the opportunity to work in the UNLV immigration clinic under Professor Kagan. And we represented a young woman that I had the opportunity of representing as a practicing attorney. I had a very hard case, went to the Board of Immigration Court, the Board of Immigration Appeals, the Ninth Circuit. But today, that young lady is reunited with her son, and she has status here in the United States. Those are the skills and the experiences that this institution is developing in each of you. So starting today, I want to challenge each of you to do something. It's a practice that I have. After today, I want you all to go get a journal, whichever one that you like, and I want you to start writing down every single accomplishment that you achieve from this day forward. Start with graduation, but everything, no matter how big or small, whether you caught a typo in a motion or an email before it got sent off, or you secured a very difficult legal victory, I want you to write it down, journal it, and periodically review it, and remind yourselves of who you are. And when you have those really bad days or those really good days, pull it out and reflect. I want your first entry to be about today, law school graduation. Many of you, I think Marcel put it very well, many of you, this is a wonderful day. As you get hooded, I want you all to reflect, take it in. Many of you scratched and clawed your way to get here. And when you walk across this stage, it's not just the mechanics of putting one foot in front of the other. No, it's the manifestation of all those late nights, that determination that you had to really understand that legal concept. It's a result of your leadership through student organizations and law review. It's a reflection of your hard work and your dedication. So take those steps with a sense of pride today. And once you face those challenges that are ultimately going to come, and you overcome that giant of self-doubt in your life, and after reminding yourselves of who you are, I want you to do one more thing for me. It's something that one of my mentors, Dr. Patricia Owens, she tells me all the time. And that's never forget where you come from. As I look across this room, as I hear the student speakers, as I read and learn more about all the great things that this class has done, I have no doubt that I'm looking at the future of the legal profession right before me. I'm looking at future law firm partners, business owners, members of the judiciary, elected officials, general counsels of Fortune 500 companies. And you're going to find that, this diploma that you're going to receive, it's going to open a lot of doors for each of you. It's going to open up doors of opportunity that you've never imagined. But as you walk through those doors of opportunity, I want to encourage each of you to use those opportunities to help your community and to promote the next generation of legal professionals. As you navigate your careers, I urge you to remember the communities that shaped you and the sacrifices that were made to get you here. Remember those values that got you through law school. They will continue to ground you. The law can be a powerful force of change, and your roots can provide an invaluable perspective and purpose. So don't lose touch with those wonderful people that came out here to cheer you on and the places that made you who you are. Let that understanding inform your work, and let it guide your decisions. And finally, as you climb the ladder of your profession, never forget the importance of paying it forward. The legal field, it thrives upon mentorship and those who take time to guide and support the next generation. So I want to encourage you to not just be a mentor to someone, but be the mentor that you wanted while you were in law school to someone else. And while you're mentoring them, I also want you to take into account sponsorship. Understand the difference. Sponsorship is that actively advocating for someone else and creating opportunities for others. It's equally critical. Use your growing influence as you all blossom in your careers to help open doors for those that may not have the same advantages as you. My last point I want to encourage you all to do is embrace pro bono service. Offer your legal expertise to those who cannot afford it, whether it's teaching a CLE, taking on a pro bono case for someone who can't afford legal fees. Do that. Continue that work. It's not only going to make a tangible difference in that person's life, but it makes a tangible difference in the legal community. Class of 2025, I am so immensely proud of each and every one of you. You all stand on the precipice of an amazing journey, and I look forward to reading and learning and seeing and witnessing all the great feats that each of you are going to accomplish. So I want to encourage you again to embrace challenges, silence those doubts that arise, remember your roots, and commit yourselves to lifting others as you rise. Congratulations. I know that the future of the law is in capable hands, and I look forward to all the feats that you all will achieve. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much for those inspiring remarks, Caleb. And now, it is time for the formal conferral of degrees. President Heavey, will you please join me at the podium? Will the candidates for the Master of Laws degrees please rise? President Heavey, on the recommendation of the faculty of the William S. Boyd School of Law, I present to you the candidates for the Masters of Law degree.
You have been recommended to me by your distinguished faculty and by the Chief Academic Officer. Therefore, by the virtue of the laws of the state of Nevada and the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents, I confer upon each of you who has fulfilled the requirements of the Masters of Law degree with all the rights, honors, and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Please be seated. Will the candidates for the Juris Doctor degree please rise? President Heavey, on recommendation of the faculty of the William S. Boyd School of Law, I present to you the candidates for the Juris Doctor degree.
You have been recommended to me by your distinguished faculty and the Chief Academic Officer. Therefore, by the virtue of the laws of the state of Nevada and the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents, I confer upon each of you who has fulfilled all of the requirements the Juris Doctorate degree with all the rights, honors, and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Please be seated. And now, we approach the portion of the ceremony that our graduates have been waiting a long time for. In a few moments, the members of the class of 2025 will have their names announced and will walk across the platform and to be hooded. The graduates will be hooded by our entire faculty of the Boyd School of Law. I will call your attention to the commencement program, which lists the names of all the students who will graduate today, as well as our award winners. And now, I think we're ready. Dean Smith?
You think it's on? Thank you. Jeannie Orenshaw Dakin. Dawn Gray. Forrest Holt. Cindy Jaramillo. Beresford Landers. Dominic Mills. Fabio Salcina. May approach the podium. And just as we were listening to the speakers, I was handed a note that says, the students are out of order. And to that I say, bring it on. I love the logic puzzles. And faculty, I will tell you when it's time to switch, and you may not have the students who are on your list. So the first hooders will be Professors Mary Beth Beasley and Brett Birdsong. Maxwell Abe. Sarah Alibegovich. Michelle Almonte Jeffries. Valerie Alvarenga. Alexandra Archambault. Priscilla Almaraz Arellano. Constantine Arjantes. Casey Atherton. Dylan Stang. Thank you, professors. The next hooders will be Professor Bailey Bartleton and Carla Bywaters. Kaylin Sokel. Sydney Uhas. Malika Khorasani. Hannah King. Harut Kachoyan. Aaron Kempf. Jason Kelly. Cadence Soselski. Thank you, professors. The next hooders will be Professors Courtney Cross and Patience Crowder. Kira Clark. Kristen Clark. Mikey Cruz. Megan Cunnington. Keegan Davis. Jordan De La Garza. Austin D. Reese. Sonny DeFritas. Danielle Baldwin. Thank you, professors. The next hooders will be Professor Benjamin Edwards and Danielle Finn. Danielle Bennett. Hannah K. Blake. Julie Bravo Buzzard. Oh. Sandra Brower. Paul Bruno. Ashley Burt. Evan Callahan. Jonah Carballido. Sydney Jung. And the next hooders will be Professor Ruben Garcia and Leslie Griffin. Ashley Jones. Stephen Jameson. Kelsey Henderson. It is. Jack Heineman. Brandon Hatch. Javiera Southers. Evan Sommer. John Netto. Juliana Ness. And the next hooders will be Professors Nachman Gutowski and Michael Kagan. Imani Mitchell. Elijah Miller. Alicia Meshkow. Macy Merlot. Abigail Medina. Ariana McConnell. Caitlin Stout. Alexander Marvin. Joshua Lozano. Laura Lomelli. Thank you, professors. The next hooders will be Professor Dawn Nielsen and Dean Lydia Nussbaum. Chase Layton. Asia Lawson. Estera Kiss. Kayla Hall. Elizabeth Haig. Alexander Guerrero Torres. Jordan Griffin. Yanesi Gordon. And the next hooders will be Professors Jeannie Price and Nancy Rappaport. Michelle Gordon. Mike Gazar. Althea Guevaro. Jonah Gavish. Paulina Garcia. Hannah Gagao. David Figueroa. Timothy Dwyer. Ika Dietz. Andrea Santillan. And the next Hooders are Professors Lena Riki and Justin Iverson. Madison Schaus. Allison Smith. Makai Zuniga. Amy Zhao. Jay Woodward. Marcel Wilkin Brown. Rebecca Wetton. Colin Weirs. Felipe Villa. And the next hooders will be Professors Rebecca Scharf and Catherine Stanchi. Nikola Velimirovich. Jessica Velasquez Ramirez. Sonia Vasquez Quintero. Brandon Ton. Barrett Thompson. Sydney Shostek. Brian Seipold. Kyle O'Brien. Royce Pereira. Crystal K. Peterson. Thank you, professors. And the next tutors will be Professors David Tannenhouse and John White. Logan Relaford. Melanie Ransom. Asia Roberson. Benjamin Robinson. Weston Robinson. Tori Robinson. Kendrea Roby. Kyle Rose. Alice Sandberg. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2025.
And now you are all officially graduates and alumni of the Boyd School of Law. Congratulations. So it's been a commencement ceremony tradition that the faculty congratulate our graduates on the way out of the arena. So everyone else, please remain seated, but I will now ask our faculty to exit the stage to be able to get set up for the congratulatory gauntlet in the aisle, in the middle aisle. Great job, you guys. Good job. Great job, guys. All right, some final words from me before you are able to go and party. Remember that you are now a permanent part of the history and the future of the William S. Boyd School of Law. We will miss seeing you around the building, but hope you will be back and visit, if only to look at your graduation picture that will hang in perpetuity on the second floor. You know how much you've enjoyed meeting alumni and hearing about their pathways. And as Caleb mentioned, please pay it forward, even as you find the successes that we all know will come your way. And always, please remember to follow us on social media to keep tabs on how we are going to continue to make you proud. And I know you are all going to go out and do great things. And I cannot wait to see how far you all go. Congratulations, class of 2025. Just a few more words of logistics. Will the families and friends stay seated until the graduates and the guests on the stage have made their way out, and then you can meet them outside. Thank you so much, everyone.